Long before any of us were born, the sacred forest was open to all.
What changed, Papa Eze?
The spirits awoke.
Long before modern roads crossed the land, there stood a peaceful village called Ogbeku. The people of Ogbeku lived simple lives. Their farms were fertile, their rivers never ran dry, and their children laughed freely beneath the African sun. But beyond the farthest farms stood a place that filled even the bravest hearts with fear. A forest, an ancient forest, a forest nobody dared enter after sunset. The villagers called it the sacred forest. And for generations, one warning had been passed from parent to child. Never enter the sacred forest after dark, because those who did never returned the same. Every evening, the elders gathered around a great fire. There, stories older than memory were told. Stories of ancestors, stories of heroes, and stories of spirits. Among all the storytellers, none was more respected than Papa Eze. His voice carried the wisdom of many generations. And whenever he spoke about the sacred forest, the entire village listened. Because some stories were not told for entertainment. They were told as warnings. Warnings written in fear. Warnings written in loss. Warnings written in blood. But not everyone believed. A young hunter named Obina often laughed at the elders. Strong, fearless, and proud. Obina believed the stories were nothing more than superstition. He mocked the warnings, he mocked the spirits, and worst of all, he mocked the forest itself. The villagers shook their heads. The elders remained silent, because they knew something Obina did not. The forest never argued with doubters. It simply waited. One evening, after mocking the stories once again, Obina made a dangerous decision. He would enter the sacred forest after sunset. He would spend the entire night there, and in the morning he would return to prove the elders wrong. His friends begged him not to go. His mother cried. His father warned him. But pride can make a man deaf, and Obina's pride was louder than every warning. As the last rays of sunlight disappeared, Obina stood before the forest. The trees seemed taller than usual. The shadows seemed darker. Even the wind had fallen silent. Yet Obina stepped forward. One step, then another, and with every step the world behind him seemed farther away. Soon the village was gone. Only darkness remained. And the sacred forest welcomed its newest visitor. At first, everything seemed normal. Then, suddenly, the forest became silent. No birds, no insects, no wind, nothing. Then a voice broke the silence. Obina. His heart stopped. The voice sounded exactly like his mother. Soft, familiar, impossible. Again the voice called, closer this time. But Obina remembered Papa Eze's warning. If you hear your name, do not answer. So he kept walking, not knowing that the forest had just begun testing him. A short distance ahead stood a little girl, alone, lost, or so it seemed. She wore a white dress that moved without wind. Her head remained lowered, and her voice trembled. Please help me. Obina hesitated. She looked harmless. She looked frightened. She looked human. But appearances can lie, especially inside the sacred forest. Slowly, the child lifted her face, and Obina felt terror for the first time that night. The little girl's eyes were black, completely black. No pupils, no whites, only darkness. Then she smiled, a smile that stretched wider and wider and wider, far beyond what any human face could do. The forest echoed with her laughter, a sound that made Obina's blood run cold. Suddenly, he understood. The stories were real, and he was completely alone. As Obina fled deeper into the forest, something impossible appeared before him. A palace made entirely of gold. Its walls sparkled brighter than sunlight. Its towers touched the sky. Its beauty stole his breath. No human king owned such wealth. No human hands could build such a place. Yet there it stood, waiting, as though it had been expecting him. Inside the palace sat an old man. His beard flowed like a river. His eyes glowed like fire. His voice was calm, almost comforting. He welcomed Obina, offered him a seat, and then offered him something even more dangerous, a choice. Because not every trap uses fear. Some use desire. Mountains of gold surrounded Obina. Jewels, crowns, treasures beyond imagination. Everything his family could ever need. Everything he had ever dreamed of. The old man smiled. Take it, all of it. For a moment, Obina was tempted. For a moment, he imagined returning home a wealthy man. But then he remembered the warning, and he chose to refuse. That single decision changed everything. The palace trembled, the treasure darkened, and the old man's smile disappeared. His skin cracked, his eyes burned red, his face twisted into something terrible, something not human. The forest had tested Obina's greed, and when greed failed, the true horror revealed itself. The true horror revealed itself. Obina ran, faster than he had ever run before. Branches reached toward him, roots twisted beneath his feet. Shadows moved where no shadows should move. The forest seemed alive, watching, hunting, waiting. And no matter how fast he ran, it always felt close behind. Then he saw his father, standing among the trees. Relief flooded his heart. At last, someone familiar, someone safe. But as he moved closer, he noticed something impossible. His father's feet never touched the ground. He was floating, and his smile wasn't human. Once again, the forest was testing him, this time with love. Exhausted and frightened, Obina collapsed beneath a giant tree. There he met an old woman. Unlike the others, she brought peace. Her eyes held wisdom. Her voice carried truth. And for the first time that night, someone explained the purpose of the forest. The spirits were not trying to destroy him. They were trying to reveal him. The earth trembled. The trees bowed. And from the darkness emerged the guardian, a spirit older than memory, taller than any tree, more powerful than any king. Its glowing eyes settled upon Obina, and in that moment the hunter felt smaller than he ever had before. The final test had arrived. The guardian showed Obina a vision of the village's ancestors, many centuries ago. He saw the sacred promise they made, a promise of humility, a promise to never place pride above truth. And he saw how that promise was broken. Suddenly, everything made sense. The forest wasn't cursed. It was protecting something sacred. Then came a second vision, a future not yet written. Foreign warriors marching toward Ogbeku. Danger approaching from beyond the horizon. The guardian revealed a terrifying truth. The village's greatest enemy was not the forest. It was the pride that lived within human hearts. And only by learning humility could they survive what was coming. As dawn broke, Obina finally left the forest. The first rays of sunlight touched his face. The village appeared before him. His family ran to meet him. The people cheered. But Obina was no longer the same man who had entered the forest. Something had changed, not his body, his heart. And sometimes that changes everything. Years passed. Obina became one of the village's wisest elders. And whenever children gathered around the fire, he told them the story of the sacred forest. He told them about fear, about greed, about pride, and about truth. Then he always ended with the same words. The greatest danger in the sacred forest is not the spirits. It is the part of yourself you refuse to see. And even today, when darkness falls over Ogbeku, the sacred forest still stands. Silent, watching, waiting, and nobody dares enter after sunset. Because some forests hide monsters, but the sacred forest reveals them. The end.
What an incredible story! The wisdom of our ancestors lives on.
My children, tonight's tale may have ended, but many more mysteries, legends, and ancient African stories remain untold. And to those listening from near and far, I welcome you into our village of stories. If tonight's story touched your heart, please subscribe to Ohinoyi Stories. Your support helps keep these beautiful African stories alive for generations to come. And do not forget to click the notification bell, so that whenever a new tale is shared, you will be among the very first to hear it.
Subscribe to Ohinoyi Stories. Join our storytelling family.
Every story carries wisdom. Every legend hides a secret. Every tale preserves the spirit of our people. And every generation must pass these treasures to the next.
Become part of the Ohinoyi Stories family. Sit with us by the fire each week and journey into the mysteries, legends, and wonders of Africa. Until we meet again, may wisdom guide your decisions, and may the blessings of our ancestors watch over you. Farewell, my children.
The fire may fade for tonight, but the stories will never die. Subscribe to Ohinoyi Stories